Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And if you're new here, my name is Dominique Storm, and on my channel I like to focus on when inexpensive feels expensive. Basically, I like to fall on the budget, so anything that looks good and is not expensive, it's kind of my jam. But as you guys can see by the title, today is the first episode of my new series, Healing Hoes Ain't Hating. Let's clap it up once. You can see by the title of my video, I'm 35. Is it too late? Ooh. So let's just go back a little bit. So the name of my new series on YouTube is called Healing Hoes Ain't Hating. And during this time on these series, I'm going to be just speaking about different things that I've learned during my healing journey that I am learning, that I learned. We're going to touch on topics about like childhood traumas and growing up with siblings and family, friends. We're just going to kind of dive into everything. So this is my first episode. I'm pretty excited. Oh yeah, and just one last thing, a nice little hoes disclaimer. Hoes, the way that I use hoes is not the typical way people use the word hoe, Hoes, like, like the urban, I don't know how we're going to classify it, but I don't mean like a promiscuous woman or man, because, a hoe could be a woman or a man, but that's not what I'm talking about. I just simply love the word hoe. It makes me laugh just using it. It's funny, so... But yeah, so I don't want to spend too much time on that, but I just, to everybody that's new that haven't checked out my first video, please go check out my first my checking in, my intro, and all my other YouTube videos you may be interested in. And if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. And even if you don't like the video, please hit the dislike button because it still helps my video on the algorithm. So either way, like, I just appreciate the support. So thank you. So the topic at hand, I'm 35 years old, and is it too late? I wanted to start off a little smooth. I didn't want to just come on and start talking about, like childhood traumas. I wanted to, smooth my way in. This is something that I'm healing from. So it's something that I wanted to talk to you guys about. You guys are my friends, right? I hope so. Y'all here, y'all my friends, right? And just another disclaimer, I just got to give out thousands of disclaimers during this episode, I guess, right? I don't know. But if this video is like triggering to you, is either like a few things. Like, you're not supposed to be here simply because you don't like me. So whatever I say, you're just not going to like it. And the second thing is just might be something that you may want to take a second look into. So I'm not here to, trigger anyone. I just want to speak my truth and with hopes that I can help somebody. All right, and one last thing before I get into the video. You guys are going to see me continuously look down because I have all my wonderful notes here. So here we go. All right, guys. So my name is Dominique Storm, as I mentioned before in the beginning of the video. Dominique Storm, that's my real life actual first and middle name. I am 35 years old. I will actually be 36 the 25th of this month. I am a mother of two. I have two beautiful daughters. I have a 17-year-old and I have a 7-year-old. Just want to give you guys, a little background, right? So as far as my adult life, I guess we can say from the ages of 18 to 36, depending on what you consider, being an adult, I only had two real relationships. Like, this is my man, this is my boyfriend, this is my girl. I only had two relationships, right? And the last relationship I had was over almost 8 years ago, or maybe, yeah, actually this month makes 8 years ago, but that's another story that's probably never gonna happen, but that's another story for another day. So I'm just mentioning this to you guys, but during that, during the time of like in between my relationships, I did deal with people, and some of the relationships were like sexual and stuff like that throughout the years. And I also had because these are my confessions, right? I also had two other relationships that weren't like, we're together, but it felt like we was together in them situationships. one that lasted way longer than it was supposed to, and one that was a short period of time. But I'm actually grateful for all the relationships that I've been in, because now I know that they were all lessons, and it kind of also helped me like realize why I'm continuing to repeat certain cycles with certain people. But we could get into that, during some other episodes. But children, I have 2 relationships, as and Azelle, and let's go back. So I had my first daughter at 18 years old, and after I had her, her and her father, we didn't stay together very long. And that was my boyfriend when I was like 14 years old, and that was a whole nother jam, right? So we had a kid together, and we didn't stay together for very long after she was born. Well, actually, we wasn't even together when she was born. Okay. So after I had my daughter, I wasn't thinking about like, getting into another relationship with anybody. Actually, things like that weren't even on my mind. I was just thinking about like being a mom, providing, and just simply having fun. Like, I was still living my life at 18. Like, I still had a pretty good, teenage, because I was still a teenager, still, the rest of my teenage life, I still had a pretty good time. So then we had that, and then it's just like kind of as time went on, I wasn't really thinking about it. Then I turned 21. And I said, God, please, God. I was praying. I was like, God, send me a man. Can you believe, like, I'm 35 years old. And at 21, with how old? 18, 19, 20, like a 3-year-old, almost a 3-year-old. And I'm praying, like, God, please, please, God, send me a man. And God sent me a man, right? And this man that he sent me was exactly like me. We worked at the same job. We went to the same college. We kind of like the same TV shows. It was like, it sounded like a perfect thing, but like when you're dating yourself and you're spending so much time with a person because you work together, you go to school together, it was definitely not a good situation. So that situation lasted from 21 up into 28, off and on. So in between the off and on, I might call somebody from the past, be like, what up? And then, rekindle some old flames. But I really didn't think about like marriage, and I knew that I always wanted to be married, but it wasn't like something that was like on my mind. I wasn't thinking about like the future. I was just thinking about like, I'm having fun. I'm in a little situationship over here. I get back with this guy, and then we get back. Like, I like to recycle. So for whatever reason in my life at the time, I would continuously just go backwards, because I was just thinking like, damn, if I start all over again with somebody else, I got to learn them. I got to do this. And as time go on, I realized that I'm a lazy lover. But, we'll talk about that another time too. Okay. So let's continue. So we got the back and forth, the off and on, the in-between, situationships here, situationships there, whatever. Not like that. It wasn't all that many, but whatever. So, so the last 8 years I've been single. And I was in like an entanglement for a very long time. And when I got out of it, I just started to like really, really question myself. Like, for one, like, why would you even put yourself in a situation like that, like to be played with, for so many years? And I had to take accountability for myself, because like I was in a situation, like knowing that things wasn't really going to go anywhere, because they never went anywhere. But okay, so we had that. So after that kind of wrapped itself up, because I was saying, you know what, Dominique, you want more for yourself. You want more for your children. Like, I have 2 daughters. So anyway, so I started to like really, sit back, and I wanted to reflect. I'm starting to really reflect. This is after my father passed away. So this is like when this awakening has come. And like as I mentioned before, it was like a blindfold lifted from over my eyes, and I started to see things clearly, and I started to really wanted to understand Dominique and what was going on and why you doing things. Like, I love to learn, so it was very interesting just like learning things about myself instead of like studying somebody else or figuring out why he not doing. Like, girl, why you doing this? Like, why you accepting it? Why you dealing with it? So during this time, I started to like wonder, like, Dominique, you're 35 years old at this big age, and you haven't been in a serious relationship for almost 10 years. You never been proposed to, you never been married. What the fuck is going on? And let me just say, guys, like, I don't feel like sad about myself, like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. I don't feel like that. It's just like self-observation. I'm a self-corrector. Like, before somebody even have to tell me about myself, I'm already probably checking myself. And if somebody do tell me about myself, I'm going to take, that information in, and I'm going to process it. And if I feel like if I've done something wrong, because I am really interested in, fixing things about myself, then I will, come back and be like, I'm sorry, X, Y, and Z or whatever. But I really take my time thinking about things. Okay. So I'm like, okay, so what is going on? So I removed myself off of social media for 4 months, just because I wanted to like get myself together mentally, financially, spiritually, all the leads. I just wanted to get myself together. And so I only had access to YouTube. I only gave myself access to YouTube. And a lot of these videos kept popping up on my feed about the red pill and modern woman and the alpha male. And even though Kevin Samuels is dead, a lot of his videos are like really circulating on YouTube and stuff like that. And I'm like, let me take a listen. And I used to watch like clips of Kevin Samuel videos and stuff like that. And I never disagreed with anything he said, but I never just took the time to actually like listen to like a full episode. So I decided to listen to a full episode. And once I started watching one, I just started watching 1,000. And I'm listening to what he's saying. Like, I'm removing me out of it, and I'm using my logic mindset, my masculine energy. And I'm tapping in, and I'm like, he's not saying nothing wrong. What is going on? So I already know I'm gonna piss a lot of hoes off. I hoe with love. I'm calling you y'all hoes with love. I'm gonna piss a lot of hoes off, but a lot of things that man was saying was super correct. And I had to check myself, and I was like, damn, baby, for all these years, you kind of been doing it wrong. So I'm not mad at myself because I feel like I caught it at a good time. But I'm like, damn, I also wish that it was somebody around to have given me this information. So basically, what they're saying is they're telling women what they want. And women are telling men what men want. And it's just like, if I'm telling you I want this, and you telling me I want that, like, you not even listening to me, and you're really not. And also, what I've learned by watching these videos about myself, that I am hella masculine. Like, I did not realize that. And I'm like, to my friends and to like, some people that that's still in my life that, I used to talk to and all that. I'm like, yo, why y'all ain't tell me? Like, why nobody ain't want to mention that? Like, y'all ain't want to, like, and I'm not saying that I want to, change that about me, because that is a part of me, but I definitely need to know how to cut it off more than on, like, I know how and why I develop, these masculine traits, but I'm 35 years old, baby. Like, do you want a man, or do you want something else? So, what I've learned, about, me being masculine and stuff like that, I've learned that I attract a lot of feminine men. And when I say feminine, I don't mean like, they, like men or anything like that. I just mean that they have a lot of feminine aspects about them. And I guess, like, it has to be one of the other energies, right? So it's either, like my masculine energy attracted this feminine energy, vice versa, and stuff like that. And I realized in order for me to, watching these videos and actually listening to them, I realized in order for me to attract the man that I want, I'm going to have to change some things up. And I'm absolutely, to a certain extent, but I'm actually more open to that than not. So I got on, like this healing journey and started like looking within and stuff like that. If somebody would like typically ask me the question, like, what you bring to the table, I would say like, I got money, I got education, I got my own crib, I got my own car, whatever it is. And I realized like that's a boy. Like, you're a boy. Like, you sound like a dude. Like, that's what men bring to the table, right? You know what I mean? Only thing I ain't say I was going, protect. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I didn't say. So I realized that like during my relationships, I was attracting more of a feminine type of man, and also I was like kind of like babying the man in a sense. Like, I was like mom. And I thought that that was a good way of showing love. And then I also realized like, me being mom. And I don't think that women realize that you're being mom, but like telling a nigga telling a man what to do, it's kind of like being mom. It's like another way that you can talk to somebody. And not only, that I, those things that I mentioned, I also have like, my mouth is crazy. I had to like really learn that, and it's still taking me some time, but trust me, I'm in a better space than I was a long time ago with this mouth. And I didn't realize like how abusive this mouth was. I'm from New York, and that's how a lot of women speak to men. And I'm not giving an excuse, because I don't think that it's okay. I don't think it's right. So those are things that I'm learning. And I also don't think that it's okay for a man to disrespect a woman. I think like typically when men do stuff like that, they tapping in more into that feminine energy. And we all understand, like why I operate the way that I do, like I'm masculine, or why a man may operate feminine. Maybe he wasn't brought up in a household with his dad, or dad was always out and he just watched his mother or sisters and aunties all the time. Or for me, I grew up, watching my father, my uncle, and stuff like that. I didn't really care about like what the females was doing. I was more tapped into like what the guys was doing, how they're dressing, what they saying, what they doing, how they was operating. So I was kind of like treating men like the way that a man would treat, a unhealed man would treat a woman. So, and then when I did get into like serious relationships, I would get hurt. That's karma. That's a whole nother story. But I just wanted to give you guys like some background on that. And I also did realize like if I did have masculine men around, they wouldn't stick around. They wouldn't stick around for a very long time. And if they did stick around, it was either just something sexual, or they was being benefited in another type of way from some, they was being benefited through conversation or whatever it was. But it was nothing that they never wanted to take serious. So I would down the feminine man, so crazy. And not saying that I just did it because today was Tuesday, but regardless of what, I think that there still should be like some type of level of respect. But because the level of respect was broken, it could never go nowhere from there anyway. The relationship is really not gonna move. Even if the man does marry you, his heart is gonna be with someone else. Like, it's crazy. But I just think that it's a lot of things that, us people, but me being a woman, that I wanted to check in and just kind of see like, girl, yo, how you get here? Like, how you get here and how you get out of here? All right, so I started to get all the realization of, all right, girl, you 35, you've been single for 8 years. And it's not that I didn't want to be in a relationship, because I could have easily been in a relationship, but I did know for myself that I wasn't really mentally ready. The question to the beginning of the video, I'm 35 and single. Basically, do I feel like it's too late? Question, I don't feel like it's too late. I do feel like, if that's something for me, it's gonna, that person is gonna be for me. But until then, I'm gonna continue to heal myself, focus on me, focus on my children, and focus on rebuilding my personal and my business brand. So just Yeah, look out for Dominique Storm in 2023. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you watching my video. And if you like it or don't like it, give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down. All love is love. I appreciate it. Have a good day.